Hey guys, Nate Polmateer here. We are continuing season 1 of our 52-week series, and we're just building the foundation right now. And my question for today is, have you ever thought or said these words, you know what? I don't want to repeat what my parents have done.
Don't wanna mess up. I can't lose your love. I can't get enough. And I'ma keep my heart right by my side. Yeah, I can act tough.
Today we're going to talk about generational effects on our money. And so a friend of mine and I were talking about this, and I thought it was an important subject because it tends to affect pretty much all of us. I grew up in a small northern Ontario town, grew up in not a really well-to-do area, but I can see many of the patterns of my friends and their parents. So their parents lived in a certain way. They were a lower socioeconomic status, and they kind of just lived paycheck to paycheck. This kind of scarcity mindset about everything. And when they got large lump sums of money, let's say a big tax return or something like that, what would happen? Would they invest it? Would they put it aside for a rainy day? No, not generally. What they would have is a larger TV, a new gaming system, and even one example I have for you of a friend of my sister's. His name is escaping me, but I can picture us sitting in the Sudbury Mall, and he has a new PlayStation, a bag filled with games and all this stuff that he bought, and my sister or those around
Asked him, where did you get this money from?
and he said, well, I don't know. I went to my bank account and I noticed there was an extra $2,000 in my bank account. And so
I thought I just need to spend this $2,000.
So when you have a scarcity mindset, you just want to spend, and you want to collect things and just spend the money that you have, and then once it's gone, then you're back to living paycheck to paycheck. Well, this particular individual did this, later to find out that actually grandma had deposited $2,000 in his bank account for his college education. So today, we're going to talk about generational effects on finances. One is a family that their parents are not great with their money and they don't teach their children. And actually, you might be in like a lower class family, a middle class family, or an upper class family, even though in North America we talk about,
There are no classes of people. Well,
inevitably there end up being classes of people. So this group is across all. It's those that just live paycheck to paycheck. And even when I was serving court papers back in a previous career, I would serve, the ultra rich, those that had many cars in their driveway with multi-million-dollar homes, and they'd have just larger debt. They'd have, $300,000 on a credit card instead of $3,000 from Citibank or something like that. So this group is the group that lives paycheck to paycheck. As soon as they get their money, they spend it. As they're coming closer to their pay period, maybe they get paid bi-weekly, they've run out of money at that point. Do you find yourself in this group? And I think in Canada right now, actually many people find themselves in this group. Even people that have, like I said, lots of money, can even be living paycheck to paycheck if they are over leveraged, if they have too much debt and they have to service those debts all the time. And so at this point in time, people are even negating paying their credit card bills, paying their hydro bills, paying their mortgage, just so that they can feed their families. So the first group, people that live paycheck to paycheck. So I want to talk a little bit about what this ends up producing in us as people. It ends up producing a lot of stress. It produces stress on our relationships with our spouses. It produces stress on our relationships with our kids. Maybe one of your children accidentally breaks the television. This will immediately set you off, and it can produce like trauma in your family because the stress is so overwhelming that all you can think about is like, how am I gonna replace that thing? How am I going to afford to get that thing? And a lot of the language around the home may be like, you know, we can't afford that. No, we can't get that. And this is just the reality of families that live paycheck to paycheck, don't know how to use their money and don't teach their kids how to use their money. And it just ends up moving from generation to generation, and it's pretty destructive. And so that's why, this is one of the reasons why we are doing this 52-week series. So if you land in that spot, that you would climb out of that hole, climb out of that place, and understand what it really means to use your money in a way that is healthy. So it's not just about being better with your money, but it's also having a lifestyle where you can thrive and not have to survive and not to have all this extra stress in your life. And that's kind of our goal in this. So if you land in this spot, there's a couple things that we're going to need to do. The first thing is you're going to go back to a couple of my videos and you're going to see what I was talking about before, about awareness and about some stewardship points and looking at, you know, your bank account. So I'm not going to explain much here, but go back to those other videos and check them out. And what that really means is we want to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Don't just jump and go get another job because you think you need more money, because actually you might not need more money. And you don't want to put more stress on your family that you already have because of the finances. And for this group, what I'd love you to do is bring your kids into it. This doesn't mean that you need to share your financial numbers, but it could even mean just getting together with them and being like, hey guys, mom and dad have been really bad with money and we want to make this right. We want to make it so that we can thrive. And it could even mean that you need to apologize to your kids. You might need to get to a space where you're like, you know, I've been getting really angry with you and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get angry with you. Try not to blame them, because that can be really detrimental to the health of your children, to put blame on them. And then they think, oh man, like mom and dad can't afford me. And that's not a good place. So it could mean apologizing to your kids, but also bringing them into the circle of this, depending on their age. The older, probably a little bit better, but just beginning to teach them as you are journeying along with this. And that's a good, healthy start. Guys, I hope to see you in the next video. I hope that you'll stick around for this 52-week series. We're on week 3. I hope I stick around and that I'll continue to get through this. I really do like teaching. I really do like coming alongside people. And I hope that this is beneficial to you and that you have just gleaned some things from this and that you can take some action steps out of this. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.